Now my brother lives in Berlin, and every so often I go to visit him. And every time I've come, he's lived there 35 years. Every time I come, there's a new girlfriend. You know, after he got married and he got divorced, then he started this cycle. And each one was a little stranger. You know, there was the Turkish one, and she was sort of normal. Then there was the German one, and then there was the Czech one, and then there was the English one, and each one of them seemed to get a little... Well, finally, the last time, well, at this time that I came, there was a Romanian one. So I don't know, is anybody here from Romania? Okay. I am actually half Romanian, so I can say it. Yeah, we're weird, you know. I guess a country that gives you Dracula and werewolves and strange people, and I can't even pronounce that guy's name who, you know, the guy who was the president. I mean, it's a strange country. And all my relatives are either, that are from it, are in the arts or are bankers. I mean, it was like we seem to take one extreme or the other. So anyway, my brother gets this Romanian girlfriend. I'm real excited to meet her. You know, she's Romanian. And I've never been to Romania. And I'm hoping she'll tell me all about it. So as soon as I meet her, well, you sort of knew something. Because as soon as you walked into the room where she was, even if you had flipped on the lights, it was as if they dimmed. There was something about her that was very dark and took whatever joy there was and squeezed it.
I spent a lot of my time in the house. Didn't go out to parties, didn't go to clubs, didn't do any of those things. And then I got to college. And college was a completely different experience. My first week of college, I realized, yeah, I'm gonna have to bring those values with me because there's too much craziness. And my focus has to be on my studies. We are now going into the third week of September. And I'm sitting on the main campus and I'm going over some notes before math class. And I hear this voice. Aren't you in my math class? And I look up and there's this really beautiful girl standing there, holding her books, staring at me. She goes, "You're in my math class, aren't you?" I'm like, yeah, I think we're in the same class. She said, "Did you do the homework assignment that we had?" I said, "Yeah, I did it." He goes, "Well, can you explain it to me?" Now, I'm terrible at math. But there are certain applications I know, and we sit down and we start working on these applications together before class. And she introduces herself, Suzette Norwood from Chicago. And I introduce myself from New York, and she goes, "Oh, what part of New York?" And I'm Brooklyn. And she goes, "Oh, New York isn't as violent as Chicago, is it?" I said, "I've never been to Chicago." Wouldn't know. I said, but we have this minor conversation and we go off to class. So I'm sitting all the way to the far right, she's at the far left. And periodically, I'd look up, I'd look over at her, she'd look at me, we'd smile, we'd wave, and we're continuing on.
I told Tom last night, all my sisters are married. I'm Susanna Mary Veronica, Judith Caroline Mary, Mary Ann Charlotte, Teresa Mary June, Margaret Mary, Elizabeth Cecilia Mary, Catherine Mary, and Julie Ann Mary. My brothers are just Bill, Tom, Joe, Stephen, and John. I know, and you wouldn't have, you would think, oh yeah, West Virginia, of course, large family. But I was raised in Northern Virginia, in Manassas, not far out of Washington, D.C. We lived in a big, old, four-square Victorian house. My mom and dad met during World War II in England. Daddy's from New Orleans. Mom was from a little village called Caldecott, not far out of Cambridge, England. They met during the war, married, and one of the big reasons I wanted to come to New York, besides coming to tell a story here, was to see that lady in the harbor that I know my mother went by on her way to Ellis Island.